Jiangshi X Chapter 6, The Arrival of Darkness. Got a nice bit of color here. And this is the most upbeat part of this whole chapter, pretty much. So we're back at what kind of looked like a monolith to me, but is apparently a stake in the ground that has some writing on it, and it functions as an amulet, a Ling Fu amulet. But they don't recognize the symbols. They don't tell anyone about it immediately, which is obviously a mistake, but they don't really know what it's about. So they don't know that they should. But if they had, I don't know if anything would be different necessarily, but it's one of those moments. So this thing has a dramatic impact on them to the extent where you can get like some basically like voiceover or narrator type stuff here. In that moment, what Xiao Hu felt wasn't mere suspicion, but rather an eerie apprehension. Although he couldn't read the writing on the Ling Fu stake, he sensed something. It was as if the depths of the earth itself swelled with a malicious evil and pulsating waves of abominable hatred. So naturally, they sneak into the library to look up this text so they can understand it, which Julie knows how to do. So he finds the Shen Jiwen Z script dictionary. And he immediately is able to understand that this is super bad news and that they need to tell everyone about it. But meanwhile, some visitors have arrived at the gate to the village right here. And it looks like they've already either knocked some people out or killed some people entering. They do some kind of magic here, and I'm not really sure what it accomplishes. I think it activates this stake, actually, which we don't quite know what that means. But the Dado, she senses this when it happens. He senses the aura of it. And he sends Zhu, I guess, to go warn everybody. As Xiao Hu, Julie, and I can't remember the other name right now, go run to tell everyone about this, even though they're already kind of too late and everybody who needs to know has already sent something. They realize they can't manifest any Dan Li, no matter what, any of their power. And that's because this amulet, when activated, nullifies all Dan Li within an area. And I guess it's slowly charged over time, over years. And then once it activates, it nullifies all Dan Li within an area. I don't know if it needs to charge. I'm not sure they're ever going to explain it. If it has to charge to a certain point, or if it's just more effective for longer or something, the longer it charges, but whatever. It got activated, and the Dan Li in the area has been nullified, which seems to mean that the monks here are going to be without their, power, essentially. But that also, I think, would mean that's what was sealing all of the Jiangshi, right? So that should release them, which is not a good thing. So they're looking for everybody to warn them. They can't find anyone. Everyone's gone because they all went to go deal with this. I think. I mean, I don't really know, but they've already been alerted, so they're not where you would expect them to be. So they stumble into a scene where there's a fight going on. And Shifu Leibu looks like he's basically, I don't know if he's been killed, but he's like, it looks like a mortal wound. He tells them to run. This is what it looks like. And sure enough, it looks like the Jiangshi have been released and are wreaking havoc. They come across Shifu Wuhong, who sees our visitors, the guys who are coming, that activated the amulet, manifest sort of. They sees their shadows, and he's like, "Intruders, announce yourselves!" And they appear, and immediately one of them, it's right here, immediately one of them disappears or teleports right underneath his head and stabs him up through his chin. That's pretty wild. So I don't think he's surviving that one. And they do identify themselves as suspected, based off that script by Julie, as the Wu Du Jidao or something like that. I don't know how to say that, but that's the sword. And that's the end of the chapter. So yeah, things have definitely begun to happen here. And this is just the beginning. So yeah, I'm gonna have to wait a whole week to see what comes next. But yeah, I'd say I'm pretty hooked on this right now. So expect more videos whether or not anyone wants them. So next one here, like and subscribe later.